discussion, as what our Faultarian journal is what we're calling it. We're doing a discussion of all things fault. We're trying to take ideas and concepts and debates among the community, and we're actually taking in people from the community that are not that are just a consumer, just like myself and Chandler, and and um, and they're also giving their opinions. So what we're trying to do is try to get the opinion of of the mass amount of people. So more so what you see when you watch the dev streams at the moment or listen to a podcast is you see a lot of internal tester opinions, but you don't really get to see the opinions of the public. So yes, we might be throwing out a tester's idea, but we're getting to see the idea and thoughts from the public point of view.
I think mainly it's a lot of people who just used to play Paragon and what they want to see in a game that success is
Yeah.
mainly looking at the state of this game and then thinking about what we had in Paragon and what's the happy medium between the two and
Hmm.
what you really want going forward.
Yeah. And one thing that I just want to commend Strange Matter, because I know there's a highly good chance that they've probably tuned into this because of who they are, and they're probably writing down what we say because that's just who they are. And I know that they're probably really considering this valuable information, and it's that kind of commitment from Strange Matter Studios that makes me want to do this kind of thing. Because I want the community itself to have a voice, and I think Strange Matter is allowing that opportunity to do so, and I commend them for that.
They changed season pass overnight.
They literally changed it overnight because 1/3 of the population, they won't say it's 1/3, but it looked like it was. 1/3 of the player base said "fuck that," and we're talking everywhere. We're talking from the top devs to the testers to the general public. There was someone somewhere that would disagreed with it, and they changed it literally in less than 24 hours. Like that's how good they are. Like I just, I'm just
You're a
so
fanboy now,
impressed.
huh?
Yeah, so impressed. So, Chandler, do you have any thoughts about the Bellica thing? Are you looking up at the stream so you can see what's reading it, or do you need?
Yeah, again, just it's hard.
It's been too
Me having
long.
any opinion of any, well, it's between being too long, not playing any character that.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, just look, I can have objective based on what I'm seeing, but I wouldn't be able to tell you if I had a preference between what they currently have and what could be changed.
And what could be changed. That's true. Yeah, unfortunately, some of the public, such as Chandler, who is a console player and still is, hasn't really had the opportunity to uh, be in an alpha. It just that's the reality of things. They only gave out 10,000 keys, which
I haven't tried it either.
which in per exact yeah, and in perspective, those 10,000 keys didn't go to 10,000 different people. That's not what happened. Because I had three of them myself. You know. Anywho, that's beside the point. So we're gonna move on to Wraith. So Reverb's idea for Wraith, and this is all subject to change, of course. And this is just an idea. This is not anything. That this is not confirmed. This is not Strange Matters idea. Is so Wraith. Wraith was so good in Paragon. Actually, the heroes of that time are just very good. Revenant, Wraith, Zinx, Wukong, Shimby.
Revenant was the only carry I played.
He was awesome. He was actually awesome. I really enjoyed a good Revenant. Um,
Yeah.
so what he has is we're gonna start with the Q. Is the Q? He's calling it Tripwire. Invisible if Tripwire is tripped, gain vision for X seconds, as well as damage and slow. Invisible if Tripwire. I'm just trying to visualize that. Okay.
Invisible?
Invisible. Oh, so it's kind of like putting. This is like the character we talked about earlier. Anywho, like our made quote unquote made up character that we
Yeah.
theorized. So put down a trap like Murdoch, and if the tripwire is tripped, gain vision for X seconds, as well as damage and slow the enemy. So
I don't know
they're
if it should be invisible.
yeah. Well, what if it's only like a 3 second invisibility? You know what I mean?
Uh, no, I don't know. I
You
don't
just
understand.
you. So imagine Murdoch put down his drone, and the second that drone or puts down his trap, the second someone jumps into that trap, Wraith immediately goes invisible for a few seconds. That could be 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We don't have that worked out yet.
Wait, he goes invisible or the
He
trap?
he goes invisible.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and as well, it does a bit of damage and it slows the enemy hero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
you can see them be deployed, but go invisible after being casted. Oh, so no, he is saying okay, okay. And so he is saying
Uh,
you see the trap be put down, but you can't see the trap after that. That's what he's saying. So it is an invisible trap, and if you get caught in the trap, you get dealt damage and slowed. That is
yeah,
what
that's
this.
what I figured.
Yeah. Similar to Teemo, Sentry Wards show the traps, and Sentry Wards. Oh, and Sentry Wards will show the trap, so it's a bit of incentivized for. And they would also expire just like Murdoch traps. There's a character in Smite that I'm very new to Smite. I've only been playing for a week, and I remember playing her, and every time she puts down a trap, it doesn't expire. And I think it's a carry. Artemis. Maybe I'm getting this right. Artemis. Anywho, um, I think they should expire too. I don't think you should have unlimited traps because I would just throw them down everywhere. You know what I mean? And
I
if
would, I
and
would not care about expiration. I just don't think invisible trap is a good idea.
why do you think it's a good idea?
It's not.
Oh, why do you think it's not a good idea?
Um, I mean, it's hard to explain. It's like a free stun you don't see coming, basically.
Yeah, that
So
is true.
if you're the lane and you try to run away into a jungle, there's a trap there. You don't know about it.
Yeah, but what
You're
about
dead.
Kalari though? Because like Kalari can go invisible.
Yeah, but not every team will have a Kalari.
That's true. That's true.
And Kalari going invisible is fun because if she attacks once, she's visible.
Yeah, but there is also an item, and there was in Paragon as well. It's a bit different in Paragon, but there is an item in. I remember using it in the Alpha weekend. There is an item in Fault. I don't know if you're aware of this. That um, if you sit still for I think it's 3 seconds, you become invisible until you move and attack again. So, the idea of invisibility is really cool because it really incentivizes wards, but I can see how it can leave a bad taste in players' mouths. Um, because I'm going to be honest, I thought Kalari was trash in Monolith, but she was a bloody nuisance. I was not pleased with placing wards in lane. I didn't like doing it, but I did it.
Even the item you were talking about that makes you invisible for 3 seconds, you can still
Look at
uh
Shadow.
not see them, but you can still there's still collision to the character, right? Because every time somebody did that to me and they walked up to me, I could feel them colliding with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, but I do think it can be really cool. Um, and it's not meant. What Reverb just said is it's not really meant to deal a lot of damage and slow. It's more about being able to see where someone is out on a map. So it's kind of like you can kind of consider it a ward in a sense. Uh, if, if, you would do that. but it is a tripwire. It is a tripwire.
It still has a slow though.
Yeah, but that might only be very small. So Nox's trap, because he said something about Teemo. Teemo stores Nox's trap shard periodically up to an amount of once. Active. Teemo tosses a mushroom trap on the ground, which stealths and arms after 1 second, lasting up to 5 minutes. While armed, mushrooms grant sight around them. Okay. Mushrooms bounce forward if they land on top of another mushroom. This can happen an infinite amount of times while Teemo is alive. If Teemo dies before the mushroom lands on another mushroom, the mushroom will disappear. Wow. If an enemy steps on a mushroom, it detonates poison all nearby enemies, slowing them, granting sight of them, and dealing.
Does it say it's invisible?
Uh, it looks like it is invincible, yeah, because it is.
No, invisible, not invincible.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you could be slowed. Yeah, you could be slowed by 1%, right? Like it could be a small slow. I actually really think that's cool. So it's kind of like having a ward in the kit, but it's a bit more than a ward. You know what I mean? And it also could add a lot of dynamic because it might be worth standing in the trap if you know it's there as the enemy hero, so that quote unquote they lose that vision around the trap. Or or it could just be as simple as, you see within a few feet of the trap.
Every time you try to run away, anxiety level is gonna rise.
Yeah. And race old Q was literally just a ward. I don't know if
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Uh, okay. So his active camo round, his E, cloak allies by shooting them with this ability for a short duration. Cloak allies by shooting them. Okay, so basically, shoot an ally, they become invisible. Can hold E to stealth self instead. Okay, so you can maybe stealth yourself for a few seconds, or shoot an ally so that they gain health, so that they gain stealth. I'm gonna start saying invisibility so I don't get people confused. You shoot an ally to make them invisible. What do you think of that?
I mean, where is his gonna? What lane is gonna belong to? Mid lane or carry lane?
I would say he's a hybrid carry, and they're probably gonna keep that. Um, so it's looking.
So
Uh,
support and or mid.
yeah, yeah, he's a support and mid. Yeah, and that's what Reaver said. He had support and mid in his in his mind when he created these ideas. Chandler, do you think that there's a chance that there might be too much invisibility in race kit, or do you think this is good?
I think it's fine, but if the enemy team communicates really well, I don't think he's gonna be strong enough.
Hmm.
Well, not like can't attack while you're invisible, can you?
No, you can't attack while you're visible unless
So I
like the
mean,
ability
all it
says
does is
so.
give you position. It doesn't really, and I mean, it depends on how important, how powerful position. Again, I wouldn't all do really move around the map without having to worry about someone directly
Hmm.
looking at you. And again, like Reverb saying in chat, it's like passing that on to somebody else for a few seconds. Allow them to, let's say, they're running away from somebody in the jungle. You have no idea if they turned left or right, so you could literally save them just because now you have that distance and nobody's going to be able to catch up to them. So, I mean, invisibility, I wouldn't imagine being too overpowered,
Hmm.
regardless if,
Yeah,
like, duration or thing.
and I'm just pulling up race old Paragon kit because I did kind of forget it, to be honest. I didn't use a lot of Wraith. So her RMB in Paragon was a long range. That was her sniper shot, or his sniper shot, that penetrates geometry and deals ability damage. Remember how? Yeah. So instead of her instead of Kalar, oh my gosh, instead of Wraith dealing damage with a sniper shot through walls, he now is able to make an ally invisible, and this is really important, or can be really beneficial, because you can't lock onto a target that's invisible, for example, right? So it can really save an ally. And the last one, rewind target marked with RMB. Oh, so if I do believe, if I'm correct in saying this, so Wraith's ability, alt in Paragon, was that he basically sends everyone around him invisible. He makes them all invisible until they start shooting, right? So what Reverb's saying is that's broken as hell, and instead of doing that, you rewind the target. His E was overpowered. You rewind a target with the RMB. So let's say I shoot you, Chandler, I make you invisible. And
Yeah.
you're just about to die. So I hit my alt and I rewind you so that now you're back. So now you move backwards 3 seconds in time, and that's how much health, and you're back at that health, mana, and all that. Rewind target marked with RMB.
I
I'm
think
gonna
he
be
means
honest.
enemy.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I skipped one of his abilities and just
Yeah,
completely,
you didn't read the arm.
and I completely got wrong what he's trying to go with there. Okay,
You were
so
looking at the old arm.
yeah, sorry. Uh, we're gonna go with his R&B first. Same as before. Snipe through walls. Gain vision for X seconds when you hit hero, and mark them for rewind. Okay, gain vision. So snipe through walls. Gain vision for X seconds when you hit hero, and mark them for rewind. Rewarded for last hitting with this ability. Mm. And his R&B here. Okay, so he's saying still snipe through walls. Uh, but you gain vision of them when you hit them, and you mark them for the rewind ability where you make them go backwards.
Yeah.
That could be
He
really
could be a
cool.
great anchor.
Yeah, Ray sounds pretty good. I think it's pretty good. His
If he could jungle, that would be great.
and and what he says is, so it still pops people for damage. His E is on the same targeting as his RMB. It is just a support. Okay, so you have to hit the skill shot to rewind. It's not free. Rewind was really toxic. I can agree to that. So what his idea here is try to add the rewind, make it a bit more uh, make it a bit more difficult to use. Um, because you have to hit that skill shot with the sniper first, and his E is the same.
I'm
Oh,
okay with that.
yeah. Actually, uh, Reverb. I'm gonna be honest. If you have it, please pitch that to Strange Matter. I actually think, especially with like you got some really good ideas, but when it comes to Wraith, I think like you're really,
It's just a
I
bounds kit
you
compared
it's
to
just
anything else.
such you really got a good kit right here. You really got a good idea. I would like to play this character. I really think, yeah. I think it's fantastic. And then the passive. When Wraith drops below 35% health, they go invisible. Simple as that. When Wraith almost dies, he goes invisible, which is something similar to Kalari did, if I'm not mistaken. I did not play a lot of Kalari, so I can't.
I'm pretty sure it was an item that did that, right?
Was it an item? No, a Kalari. Because I remember, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I did not use a lot of Kalari, but I remember being in lane, hitting her, and then she would go invisible, and then be like, "Well, we're gonna."
Oh yeah, I remember. It was for
So that's
passive. You're right.
yeah. So that's what Wraith's passive would be.
Yeah,
that
okay.
and that's fair. That's like it's fair. That's a good passive. Yeah, and the big thing that we need to remember that Reverb just tried to emphasize there is it all the passives have to work within the assets that they currently have. They're not trying to build new
Yeah.
animations for the characters. They're trying to, you know what I mean? They're not at that point in their development yet that they want them all to be within the realm of animation that they currently have. Okay, and on this note,